good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I am fantastic. Thank you for asking yourself.
Yeah, great. Really good.
Well, naturally, I just want to first thank you for giving us this opportunity to really share what PCB Luxury Rentals in Oahu, Hawaii is all about. Even though we are 6 months new, our team is well seasoned, which provides that level of service that we're continuing to aim for. Within alignment, we like to find and seek more opportunities as they come. So when it's not about transportation, what is it really about, right? So if they have cars, extending our services and keeping it consistent, and sky's the limit at that point. When it comes to
just so we don't have copyright issues.
when it comes to how PCB Luxury Rentals Hawaii came about, was introduced to Chad about November of last year, and I've learned that there is possibly Circuit of Hawaii, some investment going on with possibly the new racetrack coming up in a couple years. So with all that, he idled some vehicles that he owned already, and I mentioned to him, or he first started off with, okay, let's rent them out, and I said, well, it can be more bigger than that. How big can it go was the bigger question, right?
Yes.
So a little history and background of me. My name is Shaunte of Pahinui. I've lived here around 3 years, but I was born and raised here about 9 years old, and I moved to Vegas, and is where I became a woman of many things. I started very young with Hertz rental car. While I was 19, I was turning 20. So I actually was with Hertz in a total of 13 years. Within that, I landed contracts with Beverly Hills in Las Vegas, which kind of gave me my background when it comes to exotics, how to handle them, guest servicing, white glove service, and of course, ultimately, what I've instilled and made me a better woman, business and personal, was the Wynn Hotel. Their entirety of what it is about luxury, elegancy, service is, I have to give them props for that. My continued connections are still there, and it's good to have a good handful of mentors to kind of teach you when it's not about the money. What is it about?
Exactly. The experience. And
it is about the experience, correct.
And I think the wow experience is so important, isn't it?
Yes. That's, I gave me goosebumps because one of my mentors, Jay Ronsetti, if you ever hear this video, this goes out to you. At a very young age, my early 20s, he took me under his wing, and he is now the director of Porsche dealership in Las Vegas for guest services. And it can be tedious, but it is a wow experience.
Yeah.
It's a 5-star experience. It's a white gloved experience. It doesn't matter what you put before the word of experience. That's the ultimate purpose, is the overall experience.
Correct. And what I find, having that wow experience, I know with our real estate company, Caron Realty International, we put that behind systems, because if you have the systems and checklists, you can always make sure that wow experience is something that you continually have for every client.
Correct.
And do you find also with your business, as you come up with, certain things do come up unexpected, and you go, wow, how can we improve our checklist? How can we improve that system so we cover that next time?
Absolutely. I actually look forward to those opportunities, right? A lot of people find it as hindrance, or, it's all about constructive criticism, and that's, as long as you're 1% better going forward, that's always a plus. I think that's what separates you from anyone else. And when you do find, and kind of like
straight
competition, that's kind of where you view it a little bit closer. Is it considered competition, or is it part of your community?
Correct.
Right? It's about that service, but not necessarily all about the product. So I agree.
And it's interesting because I had a situation in our real estate company this week, and escrow is when somebody buys a home and we're waiting, at 60 days we have to do so many details to get that home closed, and we had a situation come up, and maybe we should have done it a little earlier. And one of the systems I have now daily is I go to my manager and say, how can I help you today? because sometimes we get stuck in our own tracks and we forget to ask for help. So like today I said, how can I help you today? Oh, by the way, we still haven't got the other realtor responding to us on that email. I said, great, let me give them a call and find out what's going on. And that's something new we just started to, this week.
Yes.
This week on a daily basis. How can I help you?
It's
You're a
constructive,
team
it's healthy,
member.
and it's everyone do well, right? It's just not
Correct.
there's no I in team. And I think if you're building that elite of a team,
Yes.
that's where the real focus is. And it's interesting that you do say that, and it makes me smile, and that's kind of why I'm cheesing at the moment, because I had that conversation with my boss, Chad, last night. Actually spent an hour and a half on the phone on really dialing in and focusing on how can I be better, not for myself but for my team, right?
Correct.
Because it's all a trickle effect, and just the outcome that comes out of it is what's most rewarding, and that's where my passion is driven. That's why I do it. I wake up, I don't see it as a 9 to 5. I see it as a challenge in a good sense that builds my own character that will then trickle down to my team
And to your client.
and then to our guests. That's right.
And if you're a healthy individual, that happiness, that efficiency will trickle down to that wow experience. And
I agree.
you know, I had our concierge, our property manager, you know, she's moving, and of course there's a lot of stress, and I always make a point of knowing what's going on in each of my team members' life right now, so we're sensitive to what's going on, so we keep that high level of service. And I said to her, hey, you've come a long way. It's not like it was 2 years ago when you started. So, you know, take 3 deep breaths. You can still do a high quality of work and move house. She goes, you're right. I've got so many things in place now. I can handle this. I've got it. And she had a big smile, and she goes, thank you, Caron.
Sure. Because at the end of the day, we're all human, right? So it's okay to make mistakes. I think if you place it in front of you and you know that that can be fixed and be better going forward, that's always a plus.
Correct. And how about how do you work on your creativity? I know one of the things I love about owning my own company is I get to be creative every day, and the only person who can say no to myself, or at least no to me, but I'm full of new ideas all the time.
Great question. I want to start off by, of course, representing PCB Luxury, but also having a mentor such as Chad. I think we bounce ideas back and forth, and every day idea to us is a crazy idea, quote unquote, but it's not unreachable, right?
Yes.
It's not impossible. That's the beauty behind it. Is not creating a scenario or situation. It's finding the result, finding how we can attack it and do it. The creativity is, I think, my daily goal. Well, how can I separate myself from everyone else? What makes us that much, not better, the experience to be that much more of a wow experience, like we mentioned earlier.
Exactly. And what I found is it's not the how, it's who can do it. Who can do that particular task. And that is what I'm after, is I go, okay, I know this needs to be done. I don't need to figure out how, I need to figure out who's going to be doing it.
That's right. That's right. And you can have one individual that be great, right? What do they say? They can be a jack of all trades, just be master at least by one. But when it's master of one, you kind of need a team to do multiple.
Correct, yeah.
Right? So it's when the moment when you become selfless and just kind of constructive criticism comes into place, you know, building the character, then being the mentor stage, and then just kind of giving all that knowledge, and then that's when your team wins.
Correct.
I think the level of service that we continue to provide and be part of that involves new partnerships, current partnerships, old partnerships, I think the alignment is very important. I like to call it an elite team. That's an elite team, right? So when we started to focus on just transportation, I think that's my crazy question when I was poking at Chad is, why does it have to stop at cars? You know, what I think there's a disconnect. There was, and I think that's why we're in it now. Is I've noticed a disconnect when it came to people that's in mainland, majority of mainland, or just around the world.
Yeah.
Hawaii is its own destination.
Correct.
Right? It's part of the top 10, for example. But there's no connection. They don't know anybody naturally here. They know the experience, especially if they're living through someone's story and want to create their own story through experience. They don't know anyone. They don't have, like Vegas, they have casino hosts or just hosts in general. They have a connection where they can kind of, hey, here's my money. It's not about the money. It's about my was to transition or just kind of create that transparency, right? Not change Hawaii by bringing something new into it, is why can't it be the same notation, but pivoting and while respecting the land, the aina, the people, they matter, and making it into a community aspect. And we've been successful doing it so far, so I look forward to better growth.
Yeah, and I suppose you've had first-hand experience. You've worked for a large corporation, and now you work for a boutique luxury rental car business. And what I found, I was working for a large real estate company, so the reason I started my own company was because I wanted less, I would say, bureaucracy, where I could act quicker for the client. And I had a team of like-minded people. So maybe you want to share with me, going from a large corporation like Hertz to a boutique environment, luxury rental car. And I know there's other luxury rental cars, large corporations, but going to a very tailored, as you said, white gloved company. How do you personally find the difference?
Well, I want to start by saying I appreciate this very particular question. The answer that I'm going to give you does come from a good place. Working for corporate America, being in the industry, transportation, logistics, marketing, advertising, especially for a big entity like Las Vegas as a whole, it taught me a lot. I actually, the blood, sweat, and tears, only the people that know me only understand, or people in the corporate, or just the industry in general, the demographics only understand. Doesn't discount any hard work done anywhere else. It's just a unique market. It's mentally, physically, it involves everything at that point. With that said, I made a decision to stay with a boutique company such as PCB Luxury because I see the potential growth. I think I maximized my potential. Maybe not maximized, but I hit my peak a few times when being part of corporate America, and that's where all my instillment and knowledge and empowerment comes from.
Yes.
And that not a lot of people can say that, especially being part of a corporation like when Las Vegas, being part of Steve Wynn, and just how he incorporated his vision, the care of not only his guests. So actually what I learned from him in particular is it's not the guests that visit you and spend the money that stay at your hotel is your customer. Your employees are your main customer.
Absolutely.
It then inspires them to then give it out to your guests. So that's actually what I carry on being here, being part of PCB, is a lot of my knowledge and empowerment comes from such a core base like my experience from Las Vegas. Now it's a more beautiful thing. I'm not saying it's more lax being part of a boutique, but it allows you to move a little bit more freely because you have so much more visions and ideas that can be pivoted, modernized, changed, and then filtered through.
Exactly. And it's an important point too, when you're doing business like when we're negotiating offers with other realtors. Even my team knows it's so important to have that relationship with other realtors, and especially in today's market where some properties are getting 40 offers, and if you've had a great experience with that other realtor, they're going to tell their seller, work with this realtor and her client or his client, because I know this will be an easy, smooth transition for all parties. So reputation is absolutely huge, and especially on a small island, you don't dare misbehave.
Everybody will know.
I always say that, thank God my mother taught me to be polite. I was never ever a rude person, so I'm so thankful because this island would not put up with a lot of rude people.
Well, Hawaii is part of my culture, and I think that's part of my passion. Where it comes from is it's for my people.
Exactly.
Then whoever is choosing to learn about the culture, yes, they're titled as a tourist, but at the end of the day, they spend the love, they spend the experience, and just even if it's for a short amount of time, I think it's now a due diligence for us as locals to provide that extra level of experience, right? And then it's a full circle at that point. I wouldn't want to do it anywhere else, to be honest with you. It's then you kind of Pahinui, which means take over.
Yep.
You build a team and you instill what's important the importance of what matters when it comes to missions, values of any company. It doesn't have to be with our company. That's where my best foot forward comes from. Is if I know that I can instill that level of service into these younger age groups, or just build that elite team while being at my comfort of my home.
So I have a question for you. How do you stay fresh and positive?
Yes. Well, I remind Chad every day. I thank him for any opportunity that comes. I think
So gratitude.
very gratitude, humbleness. I think comes along with respect. Just knowing the hard work that you've been placed. It's always good that should come out. Through experience, I had a lot of that, and it just kind of boils down to being humble. I think my refreshness every morning, a nice regimen is always good. Your intake, your diet, because it starts with you, right? So just if an example, you're on a plane, they always tell you take some air first before you try to help anyone else. That's very, very important. And of course, we all know the level of balance for life, a lifestyle, really.
And that gratitude in the morning is so important.
I agree.
It's so important, especially when you've been in challenging situations, just to remember what you're grateful for. And even just to remember to smile. And I've been in real estate for 32 years now, so I've really had to refresh myself several times. And I remember a few years ago, and we had a couple of tough situations, and I thought, okay, I need to treat everyone because one of my passions is dinner parties. I love to cook gourmet. So now I look.
Well, I love to eat. So that works.
And so every client I have, I thought, how am I going to serve this client? Like they're coming to my home to a dinner party.
Nice.
And I always think of that because I love what I do, but I love gourmet cooking, and it's I love to entertain, and so it's like I can professionally help buy, sell, market, and yet serve a great product.
and that's, everybody find your beach, right? Find your beach where you kind of, a little pressure is fine. Applied pressure is good. It creates character in a sense, but you have to know your what triggers you, what keeps you motivated. I think your circle is important.
Well, I've always said too, in real estate, a good real estate consultant, someone that a person left on their own and can't make a decision, but you can help them move forward, and you've given them enough information, and they take that information and can absorb it, and then they come back to you with maybe what they want to do, or you're able to consult through that, but you're able to allow people to think. They can make the decision, but you can express what you've experienced. You don't need to be opinionated. You just need to speak from your experience or what you've seen.
Suggestions or recommendations. Never, hey, do it this way. It's
Correct.
if you choose to do this route.
Exactly.
But it's your ultimate decision, and that's very important too, because you never want to start enabling someone, right?
Yes.
It's what my dad always told me. It's always someone can always fish and provide the fish, but if you just teach them how to fish one time, they'll know how to survive forever.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And many lessons learned alongside with that particular one. That there's a few good ones that stick. I think ultimately we're all a work in progress, right? I think it's just knowing that I one day can be that mentor that I was fortunate to have, and applying that knowledge towards your team, and having them understand my door is open 24/7. We succeed together. So.
Beautiful. Yeah, it's about the team and building a team that lasts. And like right now we have an amazing team at our company, and everyone's really doing what their strengths are. What I love about our team is I'll say, you know what, I think you're better to do that. That's your strength right now. And they say, no problem. I'll do what we need to do for the team. And I'm so thankful that I have very open-minded team members, and we're all doing what we're strong at, what we love, and it works. It works. And sometimes you have to do a double take because you think, oh, this isn't taking me as long as it used to. But because of the passion and the efficiency that individual team members have, everybody can get the job done in a relatively very efficient, short time, and it's just amazing. It's just amazing.
We had thank you for sharing that. I mean, it's beautiful. Just hearing other people kind of like, hey, it's happening everywhere.
Yeah.
It's
Well, not everywhere.
not everywhere.
Not
that we would
everywhere.
like anyway.
Not everywhere. And you know, and it's like when I remember years ago, and I was going up the car park at 6 a.m. in the morning, and I go, oh, I'm so happy. And I thought, oh my God, this is really sick. I'm 6 a.m. in the morning going to work. And I'm thinking, no, I've designed a life that I love.
There you go.
And so it's all about, again, it's about designing a life you love, and then the client can feel that. while
Keep
you're doing
repeating
business
that.
with
That
them.
is, I feel like you're taking me somewhere. That I think that's the ultimate
Designing a life.
satisfaction.
And I went to a business seminar once, and they said, do you have a business for this, or a lifestyle business? I thought, oh, I have a lifestyle business. I didn't even think about it. And it was all...
Thank you for reminding me.
I know. Okay. Well, if this guy's doing 50 times business than me, there's a reason.
Right.
Oh my God, look how beautiful it is here. Oh, we're so lucky. And I get to sell real estate here in Honolulu. Well, we're on Kaneohe Bay right now. And,
Wow.
This exit.
Oh.
okay.
Okay, we're good.
Oh.
Quick fix.
Well, and I'll tell you, I'll just show you a house I sold as we go around Kaneohe Bay Drive.
Show me.
And it'll be one of the new prices. It was listed at 2.5 million.
Yes.
And we just sold this house for $2,450,000.
Oh, let's go take a look.
Yeah, let's go take a look. Take a ride here. We'll see a house that we just saw. And it's a beautiful 5-bedroom, 4-bath home with a swimming pool, jacuzzi, great garage. You do get views of the bay, and it's a doctor from the mainland, and we were introduced from an internet service, and he chose us over about 8 realtors, if you keep going straight ahead. And it's about 2 minutes away actually.
Okay.
And it's the same home. I mean, we're in Kaneohe Bay, but this home would be, if it was in Kahala, a $4 to $5 million house.
Ooh.
So sometimes you got to go outside town, and you this home's amazing. And then with the H3 highway, you really can get to town probably what, 25 minutes.
Sure.
See, so you can see the house design, and I mean the copper gutters. People don't do copper gutters. Stunning marble floors. As I said, absolutely stunning home. And then about 2 driveways up is a private, well, I should say a public path into Kaneohe Bay. You can take your kayaks, etc. So I told the doctor, because I paddled for what, 25 years, I forget. So we're going to bring our one-mans over here and take him out on the bay.
Oh, there
When
you
he
go.
gets here. Yeah, so it should be really neat. So wasn't that great?
Added benefits. Added benefits.
There you go. So we're all over the island.
Hey,
So
part of the experience.
and
We
look
were
at
just
this.
talking about it,
Yeah,
right?
all over the island. See, it's beautiful. Yeah, just stunning.
Where's Chad's?
And I'll show you. Here's the public right away. See,
Oh, beautiful.
down there. Yeah.
Straight away. Oh,
Yeah.
beautiful.
So when I first started
Should I
in,
go straight or go?
Yeah, just go straight.
Straight ahead.
Stretch H3 at the top.
yeah.
Oh, nice. Easy.
So I've sold a lot of homes over the Windward side in my career, and we're all over the island. The Ever area, I don't do a lot there. My agents, I have 2 agents out there right now who do a lot. But I mean, I remember selling homes in this neighborhood. Actually, I think it was that house I sold probably 20 years ago for 1.1 million.
Oh my goodness.
So I actually always have to adjust my pricing because I've been doing this so long.
Yeah, let's hear about your story, Caron. How did you get into this?
Yeah.
Oh, how did I get into real estate? Well, I came to the islands in '89 with a backpack and $700. And I'll make this very
American
brief.
dream
Yep.
story.
And before that, I used to deliver yachts in the Caribbean.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, you didn't know that about me, did you? And I delivered
Beautiful.
yachts in the Caribbean, and then just one situation I'll tell you, we actually got shipwrecked. I watched a lot of Gilligan's Island actually. And I had to stay, I think, 2 nights over island, and I didn't know where I was. The ship was wrecked. We were in the middle of the Caribbean, had no idea, but we got out of it. But I was brave, and there was
more brave than it sound I would have.
and then I was just so adventurous. I was like 21, and I left Australia, and I just wanted adventure in my life. So went to Europe, and then went to the Caribbean to sell private boats, and got shipwrecked.
Wow.
And then went on another boat and Oh.
Good
And
for
then,
you.
I remember calling my mum in
Well-
St. Thomas, and she goes, "How are you, darling?" And I said, "I'm still alive."
It's going great.
I've had a lot of life. Oh, I sold that house too.
Oh, this is your stomping grounds, isn't it?
Yeah, this was and that one up there I sold. So I mean, when I first started real estate, I did a lot of business in this area.
Good for you.
A lot of friends lived out here. But anyway, so I did the Caribbean, and then I met my husband to be in, I think it was in St. Thomas actually. And then he said, "I'm not leaving you down here, you need to come back to the US." So which I did. And then I ended up spending 2 years skiing in Breckenridge. I used to ski 130 days a season.
Goodness.
And then I used to
Turn right.
Turn that side.
turn left, yeah.
And then the H Street on ramp.
And then I used to waitress in the day and ski at night. And one day I remember I'd used my legs so much I couldn't walk when I was working as a waitress. And my boss goes, "Stop being so silly." I said, "No, my legs won't go anymore," because I had skied so much. I mean, and I remember when life was really simple, and I used to just have 5 outfits, boom. In summer we'd go to Europe, and it was a lot of fun actually. Anyway, I got a lot of life experience, which I think really added to my experience in real estate with people. I'm a real people's person.
Right lane.
Sorry.
So I came to Hawaii with not
Straight?
knowing anybody.
Straight?
Straight
No,
ahead,
keep going
keep
straight.
going,
Okay,
and you go with the H there.
Yeah. When it goes underneath the overpass, then there's a right turn.
Okay.
You'll see it. It's the next
Okay,
lane.
sorry, I don't know.
Oh no, that's okay. That's fine.
Why am I not a Hawaii guy? Got it. No problem.
Yeah, right here. The next right. It's coming out.
There you go. And then I came to Hawaii, didn't
Thank
know
you.
anybody, got a few admin jobs, and funny, I used to sell closet systems. I did about 3,000 closets, installed closets.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I went into, everyone said you should be a realtor. I went, oh my God, I don't even like realtors, right? So then I went I remember interviewing with 5 different companies, and they all wanted me, and I thought, well, this is really weird. Why would they want me? So then it became a game for me where I wanted them all to say yes and then say no. I was so bad.
Oh, and that begun your time.
I was like, so anyway, I ended up working for a beautiful company here, and in a very short time, many years ago, I was like #1 agent in Hawaii, and then it just struck me. I thought, wait a minute, what am I doing here? What's important? And that's where it came, where I changed my tune, and it was about enjoying my client, having a great team behind me. It wasn't about, I put ego aside, and that was huge, and that's where I changed my whole story and started my company 20 years ago now.
Good
20 years ago, and gone through a lot of learning, and learning to be a great leader too is not something you're just born with. It's I've educated myself. I continually learn all the time. I think that's really important, education. And what I found is if you're ever in a funk, just get back into education. We underestimate how much education can really motivate us.
It's very powerful.
Very, very powerful. And then one of my probably peaks of my career was in 2000, where I spoke to, I think it was like 1,500 realtors in Australia. They flew me down first class to talk to 1,500 realtors in Sydney, Australia. And actually, I was this close to going into public speaking that I thought, no, I'm not ready for that really. And so I decided, I did quite a few small speaking venues, but I could have made it a lot bigger actually, but I decided not to. So that was really a wonderful point in my career, and then I became quite famous with realtors in Australia, and I'd get hundreds of emails all the time. That was hard to manage actually. But always, I was very dedicated. I still am, but when I was newer at it, it was definitely a 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. career. I didn't stop, and yes, my personal life did suffer a little bit because of that. And now I've learned to have the balance of both, which is really great. And a lot of that comes in with I'm a strong believer of having a team. Whatever business it is, you need a team. I don't believe you can give that wow experience without a team behind you.
Exactly.
And I see that in real estate all the time. I see realtors who've been around for a long time, excellent realtors, but if they haven't got a team, I do see them falling behind, because people's level of service they require today, I believe, is at a higher level than it was, and I believe that's because of internet. If you don't have that higher level of service, service, why even bother using somebody? So
Right.
that's really important.
That's the only thing that differentiates going online, right? Right at this point.
Absolutely. It's all about the service, it's the network of people you've got, and it's about the experience. I mean, it's
Sure.
all about the experience. And one of the things we used to do before COVID is once someone went through the home inspection, which is always a crazy time, they find out all the faults of the home, and then they get over it, we figure out how to fix it or get somebody in there to, of course, fix it for them. We give them movie tickets. You know, like we might give them a dinner and say, hey, we got through this part. Go have a very casual dinner on us,
Dinner
or
and a
something like
movie.
that. Yeah, something like that. And then we're up to the next thing. But it's always taking care of the client's welfare during the whole transaction process.
Sure.
Yeah, or just picking up the phone and saying, hey, how you doing today? You doing okay? You know,
Right.
because people don't buy and sell homes every day, and they always say a realtor should buy and sell so they stay emotionally attached to what it takes. And I actually moved homes a year ago, and that's got me a little definitely more in tune with what clients go through. And Chad, of course, his sound system company, he's got the best sound system company too. I mean, I don't hesitate. Oh, and I've just referred a client, Chad. I just sold a multi-million-dollar home up in Monolani Heights, actually.
Oh, well, okay.
Yeah,
no problem.
So I've got somebody up there that'll be calling you. Yeah.
Hey, awesome. Networking.
Yeah.
Well, that's another thing, right? So when you do all these things, this is the structure, this is the pillar, this is what you can choose to build. And you say, hey, I did that. It's self-rewarding at that time.
And when she says team, it's not just the real estate side, it's
Everything.
It's the AV side, it's the mortgage broker, it's it's the window washer, it's
everything that
it's everything.
Sure.
The electrician, the plumber, everything.
And that ties to networking, building the rapport. Your guests, there's external guests and internal guests.
And you know what we do too is every Monday when we have an office meeting with our team, is we'll say, what's your personal professional best for this last week? What did you learn this week? And then another item we have is who do we need to add or take off our vendor list? So we're constantly updating our vendor and networking list every week.
Service matters.
Yeah. Exactly.
Wow. Amazing.
So on top of it all the time.
Yes, I really do appreciate actually being part of this opportunity. You can kind of look through an hourglass and see every sight, you see every sound, every sense that we carry as human beings. It's an opportunity to be better, right?
And I think I've just recently gone through a situation where unfortunately the other realtor hasn't shown his nicer side, and I thought to myself, it's about being kind to each other. Kind and
Back to
helpful.
basics.
I mean, life
Kindness.
is short. Let's make it a great experience for people.
Being thankful, correct.
Have the knowledge, but then just be kind and grateful. And I know sometimes we think, grateful, this and that, but God, it makes such a huge difference.
And it's the golden rule, the unspoken rule, right? It's back to basics, being kind, do the smile. Now I know with the mask, everything's new, it's a new normal, but you can tell through the eyes, you can tell through your body language, your tonality, everything that you do matters. I think, dialing back to your last question is, how do you stay refreshed? You really check yourself in the mirror before you leave and step out that door. Make sure you're in a good, positive mindset. Because you're doing it for yourself, for others. If you're just in it for yourself, hey, good luck to you, but you're not going to last long. Some people's out for short term. I personally choose long term. And when I do, I don't like to be by myself. Why? When you can kind of create the community to enjoy life with you, and it's business and personal, right?
And back to the mask thing, there's so much judgment happening with, the COVID and mask, whether a mask or not. And I think one of the rules of life I've been led by for a long time now is, stay out of judgment and get into curiosity.
Woo! Yes.
Because if you stay into curiosity, you'll learn. Judgment just shuts the door on you, and
highly agree.
there's validity to what everybody thinks or believes, and maybe there's a pearl of wisdom there.
Sure.
And learn, there's I have Angus, my son's 16, and he'll from school, and he'll say, oh, this person's mean, and then blah, 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 this boy, blah, blah. And I say, you know, honey, don't be too hard. There's obviously something going on in his life where he might be having a tough time right now. You know, and I think that's what we all have to remember. You know, it's really important to always have that open mind and kindness.
Yes, absolutely.
I remember a friend of mine who owns a very successful business here in Honolulu said, Caron, you've done this so well, how do you stay so nice? I said, a sense of humor. I mean, I must admit, I got tested the other day and I thought, oh my God, it's a sense of humor that's got me through all this stuff. And the girls know, the team knows, and they'll say, Caron, I've got a better one than this one from the other week. You know, so.
You have to kill it with kindness.
Everyone's going through something.
And nod. It's everything in a nutshell.
You know, and so few people have the education that goes beyond what we do, and including myself when I first started in the business. And you know, I was very fortunate to have a listing, a multi-million-dollar listing in Kahala. And I remember my client turned around to me and said, oh, would you mind taking the wash out of the dryer before you leave after the showing? And I went, oh, I thought, I don't even do washing myself. I have to take the clothes out of the dryer.
How cute is that?
But you know what? That's what we get paid to do.
Yeah.
You know what?
That
okay,
let's do this.
And sometimes we learn more from clients than anything, than textbooks and listening.
I mean, Chad is my witness. I don't say no. Like, okay, or I don't say no, I can't do it. Or
Isn't that amazing?
I may freak out. I may go, 0 to 1,000, but it's okay. Let's do this. Boxing gloves on, and
yep.
Then 2 seconds later, I turn to Chad like, okay, how are we doing this? But the intention is there. They're willing to just get it done, right?
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
So what I mean, more of my story with that is it's good to have somebody to turn to, right? It doesn't matter what your title within the company is. It's everyone is, if you're trying to build together, entitlement is out the door. It's the respect, the acknowledgement, the willing to succeed.
So what's your favorite thing to do after a hard week?
I still don't get a chance to do it.
You need hard days every day.
I think to help pivot this question, I think for me I guess support my answer is, even though, everybody has their own beach, I think just getting through a day, every day, there's always someone out there that has it harder than you. I think being grateful, dialing back and going, really sitting down over a good meal, whether it's in silence, whether you have your beautiful family in front of you, when you get home, it's not if, it's when you have the time to get home. It's really indulging the things that you try to make time for. It may not be, and that's another something I want to talk about in a second. I think being in the moment really matters, right? It may not be enough for your loved one, or it might be shortcomings on your end, but for you, it's how do you continue to find that balance? Being part of the growth with this company now, and I wouldn't trade it for the world, to be honest. Again, the conversation I have with Chad is, I like what I do. I have a passion for what I do. So the hard work that we're going through now is worth the triumph that we'll see, because I can see it already. With that all said, quick answer, the beach. I would love to jump in the beach, just stay there all day. That's hands down. I'm from Waimanalo, and my family is from Waimanalo.
Some of my best friends live in Waimanalo.
There's dialing back with my family history. We were all musicians, so they sing. We kind of compete every weekend. You know what? It's okay. FaceTime, thank you, technology. We make it work, and that's the key. You make it work.
Well, we have dinner like every night. We have family dinner every night with a 16-year-old, without question. And we have dinner together. You'll love this. Someone sets the table. Someone puts the candle on, and the music, Chad.
Great audio. You can't forget that.
I know, the great audio. And we have dinner every night. Beautiful. Yeah.
Phones off.
Yeah.
Everybody, doing their thing.
So it still does exist. Family dinners every night.
I think it's most important. You know what? If you don't, you got your kids on your phone, and you got 2 inches on. But whatever that is, I think it's good to be able to sleep at night. You had a good day. Even the bad
So tell me a bit about the car we're driving in.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So this is our beautiful Range Rover. The model of this Range Rover is Velar. And I
What's it called, sorry?
Velar.
Velar.
Go back to the shop. You know how to do that, right?
It's so there's an Evoque, which is a little bit smaller than this. The Velar, I got an opportunity to drive it when I went to Las Vegas to be part of a Vegas kind of, check them out with the racetracks, and just so happened it was NASCAR weekend, so I was able to tie all that in. And I came back and I went straight to Jen. I said, we gotta get this car. I don't even know what the name. Let's do rewind, do my due diligence, find more research on it. So this car, it is your ultimate luxury. One of few ultimate luxuries, but in particular, it's just smooth. It's family friendly. It's user friendly. You sit at a level. It gives a different experience. You sit a little bit higher, elevated. It gives you that opportunity to feel that you're just with clouds at this point. And what I mean by that is that you're just kind of grazing through the traffic. You're able to sit comfortable.
Yes.
And case in point, what we're doing right now, you're able to kind of have a beautiful conversation within the comfort of your vehicle.
I know. I'm forgetting I'm in a car, right? I'm sitting here just
right. We had a
beautiful
full conversation in a luxury setting.
It's gorgeous.
Not even really being kind of bumped around or just kind of, Now we also have in our fleet, of course, I'm sure you folks already know, if you the sportier version of it all gives you a different experience, and it again ties all back to the experience, right?
Exactly. No, beautiful. Well, I want to thank you for allowing me to learn more about your business and about the leadership and maybe. So where do you see the company in the next 5 years?
Oh my goodness, sky's the limit. That's all I'm gonna say. Sky is the limit. And it's always good to be in the moment, right?
Yeah. Oh,
absolutely.
absolutely. Enjoy the moment.
Reflects on where you'll end up being in the next 5 years. So.
Exactly. Well, great.
Thank you for having me.
Well, no, thank you for taking the time to tell and for us to talk about life and business. It's just been amazing today. No, wonderful.
Awesome.
Thanks.